afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to open by saying current and future distinguished entrepreneurs. It's a great honor to be with you this afternoon. Of course, last year Ambassador Goldbeck attended the initial inauguration of this event, and as of course there's been this great dialogue in terms of the work between the U.S. Embassy and the United States government and the Philippines, working very closely with kind of all levels of Philippines societies and culture, whether it's education institutions, government officials, startup entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and of course industry. Now, today's symposium really demonstrates the strong relationship that's continued between the U.S. government and our friends in the Philippines. And we can only hope that through efforts like this one here today, that we can help create and stimulate conditions that will drive the Philippine economy on a very high and productive path on into the 21st century. USAID's IDEA project, of course, has been an important contributor to this process. And we've had a chance earlier today to meet with, I've had a chance earlier today to meet with Goldbeck leaders as well as a number of their participants in some of their programs, and to see firsthand how these organizations work together to help create better opportunities, bringing together students, professors, private sectors, and others, working and looking at research and how to take that research and make it commercially applicable and useful to people. Now, earlier today I had a chance to meet two young ladies who put together their own app called Simpy. And I think one of the great pieces, one of the very great takeaways from that was they said you have to be not afraid to fail early in order to succeed later. And that's really such a critical concept, isn't it? I heard it earlier today when I stepped in. I'll put it on a little bit of a personal note, okay? I had a good mentor, a great mentor, and that was my university professor. And he said to me one day, he said, "Ryan, there's a great study program at the United Nations this summer. You should go do that." And I said, "Gosh, doctor, I'm a pre-law focused, not interested in foreign policy, international relations, any of that stuff. So I think I'll pass." He said, "Just shut up and do it, okay?" I said, "Okay, it's just the summer, I'll do it." So off I went. I had a chance to study at the UN, met interesting people like George Bush the Elder, who was our ambassador to the United Nations at the time, came away, like you, enthused and said, "Gosh, this is fascinating, I got to do this for the rest of my life." I mean, really a sea change for me. So I took the test, Great Foreign Service test, and I failed. And I said, "Well, what's wrong with this picture?" And I took a look, and I hadn't done all of the things that I had to do to get myself ready for it. And so I spent literally about 10 years preparing. Took the test and passed. Came on board. 17,000 of us took the test, and 300 of us got jobs. So think about my failure risk and rate. Yes, I took the test once, okay? You learn each time you try and fail, right? So eventually I was successful and that got me here, but I had to listen to my mentor. I had to listen to him, give me good advice, and he saw something in me I guess maybe I hadn't seen, helped me to discover that. Now, another part of mentoring that I look at is we have what they call career development managers. Sounds like a pretty big title, doesn't it? And what they do is they help give you advice about how you can develop your career. And so I'm naturally distrustful of these people. And so what I do every time I get a new one is I ask him 3 questions, or her. I ask them 3 questions that I absolutely know the answers to. And if they get all 3 right, then I trust them a little. If they get any of them wrong, I ignore them and I take care of myself. So that's kind of my quick nickel's worth on mentoring, but it also speaks to this willingness to fail, the willingness to try. There's a very winning coach, National Football League coach, who said the only place that success appears before work is in the dictionary. That was Vince Lombardi, NFL Packers coach. being Wisconsinian, we have to get the Packers in someplace. Not sure how I'm going to get cheese in here yet, but I'll think about it. The United States and the Philippines signed a Science and Technology Agreement in 2012. I think that's an important point because we have, in the process of signing the agreement, we looked at all the different areas that we can cooperate. And we began to identify areas in each of those different sectors, science, technology, innovation, et cetera, that we could work together, as well as S&T education. And so you've heard me a couple times talk about USAID's programs that relate to helping to develop educational systems or help to develop research and development capabilities here within the Philippines. I think that S&T agreement is going to be an important part of our joint future together, because I think through that we will find ways to to increase the levels of technology and increase the levels of education that will help the Philippines develop those kind of innovative and creative solutions that so many of you are aspiring to and that we've heard discussed today. Now, to put it in a global context, of course, President Obama back in 2011 talked about an all-hands-on-deck approach to it, meaning it has to be a whole of government, a whole of society, really, in order to be effective for this kind of innovative, creative growth and development. It can't be just the government doing it. It can't be just the private sector doing it. It can't be just the education institutions doing it. It really has to be everybody working together with a sense of common purpose and a common goal of achieving results, of finding ways to work together to be more effective. President Aquino in 2012 had a similar kind of philosophy, and he said that at an event hosted by Goldbeck, that the attendees were there because they were, quote, believe that the ideas for innovation can be sourced from the Philippine people, and that we need to train them to turn those ideas into real projects. And that was President Aquino. So now we have this kind of an event today, which again begins to address some of those same kind of philosophies and approaches. And I think this is the great thing about this. When I walk into the room, I can feel an energy. It's palpable, you know. And when I feel that, I can sense that the Philippines has a good future, has a creative, innovative future. Yes, you're going to have to work. You will arcade, that magic word. You know, yes, you're going to try and you're going to fail, but you'll get up again. That's what the Philippines is about. Been through a few typhoons with you, and I know just how resilient you are. I'm also, as was mentioned earlier, I'm a USC graduate, not University of San Carlos case, but University of Southern California. And for the last couple of years, I've attended their annual World Conference. Well, so what, you know? The school that I attended was Bilateral, the engineering school. No, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a lawyer either. One of the things that I discovered at this most recent conference held the year before last in Seoul was there was a presentation which was put together by the psychology department, the education department, and the robotics department. Now I said, oh, what did these three possibly have in common? And the answer was autism. Autism, okay? And what they were doing, working together, was they found that autistic children get quite nervous, get very upset, okay? But they found robots could learn to mimic the behavior and the mannerisms of autistic children. And in doing that, it actually helped the autistic child calm down. So here I was looking at three very diverse schools who put together different concepts, bringing them all together to yield a result that is really positive in terms of contribution to people dealing with autism. So it's that kind of, those synergies, those creativities, that I find are really exciting. Now, to carry it one step further, I took that idea from that seminar, and I went to another one. USC, of course, is famous for motion picture, or film, right? So there was one guy that was talking about, he had come up with a new idea, where you input into the computer a couple of basic ideas, and the computer would slowly grind out an entire world for you. You know, it would take the basic concepts of a story and build the whole world. A whole world. And so you could literally kind of watch the world unfold on the screen. Buildings, people, clothing, all that stuff. The computer would just kind of gin it up. So I sat down with the guy who created that, and I said, you know, one of the challenges for children with autism, I've worked with autistic kids a few times, I said, is trying to know what their story is. So we can kind of see the big picture. We see the outer world for them, but we don't know what is their inner world. Okay, what is their inner soul, their inner spirit? I said, do you think we could reverse this thing that you got, turn it backwards, and see if we can take this broad picture of an idea that this autistic child faces, and turn it around and find out what is their core concern, their core problem, their core challenge. And he said, you know, gosh, yeah, I think that would probably work. Now, I can't claim any fame from that. I don't think it's gone that far. But what was happening here was the two of us were bouncing ideas off of each other. And maybe we get something, maybe we don't. I don't know. But I think, you know, it's from those kinds of synergies and that pop that you get when you suddenly have a revelation that can be such an inspiring piece. Now, I'll share one more less inspiring piece. 1996, well, in previous jobs I've served in Korea. I really like Korean food. Yes, I like kimchi. And one day I was thinking, potato chip, kimchi, potato chip, kimchi. Great idea, huh? So I thought about it, and I told my wife, I said, what do you think about this? That's a great idea, you should do something with that. I got busy doing some other things. 2 years later, Korea is starting to produce kimchi potato chips. I missed my chance. You have these ideas too, I know you do. You have great opportunities, great things that you can contribute both to for yourself, for your family, for your provinces, for your country, and possibly also the world. So it's up to you. It's going to take work. You'll try, you'll fail, but I have confidence in the Philippines. I have confidence in you. I know you'll succeed. Thank you very much.